What's going on, guys? Amanda here with the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. Nothing but the truth about HOTshot trucking. So, my last video, I should have never gotten excited about having my whole week planned out and booked on the first day of the week. Because, I super jinxed myself. It really sucked. We had the load from hell last Wednesday. Oh my gosh. I've never had anything like it. And that's just the kind of stuff that nobody prepares you for when you jump into this business. There's no book out there, handbook. You can Google search it, but your situations get so weird and so specific sometimes that you're just like, crap, what do I do? Gosh, I hope none of you ever find yourselves in the situation that we were in last week, but I'll tell you about it. And that way, if you are stuck in a similar situation, you can make a better judgment call than we did. So, I had my husband all the way down in South Carolina last Monday. It was great because the weather was nice down there. It wasn't freezing or anything. Nice, easy drive. I was able to find him a load coming back north. He was going to go from South Carolina to the Cincinnati area. I told him, I was like, you got to be on the road by 3 a.m. I've got everything worked out for you. That way I can have you home. He was very specific. He wanted to be home Wednesday night. It's very difficult to do that sometimes. If your driver wants to be in a specific spot, if you have a smaller trailer and a smaller setup like us, pickings are kind of slim sometimes, and you just, instead of following the map, you have to kind of follow the money and let the money take you wherever you're going to go. If you have a much longer trailer and you can haul more weight, then that opens up your options. And I wholly suggest, if you are considering getting into HOTshot trucking and you want to be under CDL, to get as big of a trailer as you can get. It's great because you're driving like an F-350, or you're not driving a semi, so you're not spending too much in gas. But with our setup, we only have a 25-foot trailer right now. We can only scale up to 9,500 pounds. It was all we had that was available to purchase at the time. That's what we got stuck with. We're making it work, but it ain't easy. Spend the extra money if you can to get a bigger trailer. It'll definitely be worth it. So anyway, he wanted a load that would bring him back home Wednesday, that he didn't need to take to drop off until Monday. And I was like, I'll do my best. I really doubt that I'll be able to find a load specifically for our setup that will do those things, but I did. It happened. I found it. And I was really excited. It didn't pay the greatest, but if it's at the end of the week and you're trying to get home, sometimes you just gotta, get it, take it. Sometimes you gotta take a crappier rate to get you to a spot where the rates are really, really good. We've had to do that sometimes, and it pays off. So anyway, again, I told him leave by 3 in the morning. His phone did some tricks, and instead of his alarm being set for 3 a.m., it got set for 3 p.m. I called him at 7 in the morning to check on him, and that was his wake-up call. So we were 4 hours behind. So make sure that your hotshotter always has their phone set to military time, because then you will never run into that problem. My husband's phone is on military time now, and it will always be, and we will never run into that issue ever again. Oh my God. So we were on time dropping off what we had to drop off up in that area, but then we had a pickup that we had to do. He was 2 hours late for that appointment. Luckily, the broker was really cool. The company we were picking it up from was really cool. Like, they weren't closed yet. They basically were strict with their pickup times and drop off times because of COVID. But yeah, everything ended up being fine. So if you find yourself in that situation, what I learned from all of that is the best thing you can do is to keep in constant contact with the broker. Keep them updated like every 45 minutes, every hour. Be very transparent with them. That's what the broker told me. Sounded like he's been in this business for a really long time, and he said, you know, there's the forces of evil out there are always against you. Just be upfront with what times you're gonna be there, how far you are out, and then everybody, and the sooner that you can get them that information, the better. It was like, just everybody knows that things happen in this business. You have to kind of learn how to go with the flow. So in those cases, you just be honest with your pickup and drop off times, and they'll work it out. It's going to be more of a headache for them to cancel the load that you're trying to go pick up, than it is for them to just work with you and wait a couple extra hours. So there was that. So he picks up this load in the Cincinnati area. It's got to be dropped off in Michigan. So he goes from Cincinnati area up to Michigan, gets that load there right on time. It was a really heavy load too, and there was no forklift there to get the load off of the trailer. So my husband had to basically unwrap this thing and just take it off the truck piece by piece. It took him like an hour and a half. And it was just a residential place. We were told that it was going to be able to get unloaded with no problem. And if we hadn't been so late picking that load up, I probably would have disputed that one and asked for more money, but whatever. Just, crap like that happens. So anyway, he's up in Michigan. This would be, when was that? Yeah, Wednesday. Up in Michigan Wednesday. He gets to, this one was 2 picks, 1 drop. So he was going to pick up in Michigan, come back down, pick up in Columbus, Ohio, come home until Monday, and then drop off in Kentucky. So he gets to his first pickup, even with having to hand unload all of that first load that he had dropped off in the morning, still managed to make it to his first pickup address on time. And he calls me and he's like, hey, I don't think I'm in the right spot. I definitely typed the right address in, but I'm in like a Dollar General parking lot. So, great. Now we gotta figure out what's going on. So I'm getting ready to call the broker to figure out what's going on. She actually called him right before I called her. And it turns out that she had put the wrong address on the rate contract. And you got to think, my husband now has been driving. He's been on the clock for like 5-6 hours at this point. And he's exhausted. And you also have to take into consideration your HOTshot trucker's drive time. They only have so many hours in the day that they're allowed to legally be on the road before they have to take a break and let their time reset. So all of these things you have to factor in. So she sends him to a different address. It's like 30 minutes from the original one that was on the rate contract. And he gets to this place. Nobody's there. And I have a picture of the thing that we're supposed to be picking up. And I sent him the picture of it. And he's looking in their lot. And none of those things are in the lot. So we're very confused at this point. So he calls the broker back. And he's like, nobody is here. This thing is not in the lot that I'm supposed to be picking up. And so she starts getting frustrated. And she's like, are you sure you're at the right address? And then she sends him this other address. And so I'm Googling all of this stuff, Google mapping it and looking at everything. And the other address we got sent wasn't even a town that existed in Michigan. I don't know if it was just a typo or something. Yeah, none of it was making any sense. She sent my husband 3 different phone numbers to call. 2 of them were the wrong number. 1 of them they wouldn't answer. And then, let's see, we definitely waited way longer than we should have. We ended up getting tied up waiting to pick up these loads for 3 hours. It's just, this stuff happens to you for the first time and you have to learn from it. I wish we would have never waited that long. Honestly, after she sent us to that second address and nobody was there and they couldn't figure out what was going on, I wish we would have waited maybe 15 more minutes and just said, where's my tow? Sorry about your luck. Have a nice day. But, it sucked because we lost out on about $600 for that load. It would have been a really good one. The drop-off point was going to be close to home. It was going to get my husband home. So that's kind of why we waited around for as long as we did. So anyway, at that point, we called him back and we said, look, we've been held up for 3 hours now. It's not even a question of, at this point, my husband, to go pick up the second item in Columbus, Ohio, he would have been way over on drive time and he wouldn't have been able to come home. So at that point, before we even had to say anything, the broker said, well, I'm really sorry about all this. Nobody could figure out what was going on. And we ended up getting a tonneau. Unfortunately, we couldn't get as much as we thought we deserved for having to be held up that long. But it did essentially get us the gas that we needed to get home. But it does suck because that totally screwed us over for today. So, yeah, if you ever find yourself in a situation like that, don't ever wait around that long like we did. And then even on Thanksgiving Day, I don't know what was going on with this company. They were still texting us to see if we want to know our estimated times for pickup. I guess no one was communicating that this load got canceled for us. And then the day after Thanksgiving, we were getting phone calls wanting to know when we were going to drop this off and pick this up. And so just be prepared for, like that broker told me, the forces of evil, the things that are beyond your control. You're definitely going to run into crap like this all the time. And if you have a smaller setup like we do, it's more difficult. It will be more difficult to find loads that will make up for it. Yeah, so there it is. The load from hell. Will we be doing business with that company ever again? I don't know. I don't necessarily want to burn that bridge, but I'm scared to death to ever book a load with them again, to be honest. Yeah, so here I am today. It's maintenance day for the old truck and trailer. I'm just looking for loads to get our ball rolling for Tuesday, making that Christmas money. Yeah, slim pickings today, by the way. Things are kind of slowing down. So, yeah, I hope that you can learn from our poopy little situation that we had last week. Stand your ground. My husband was exhausted. He had no fight left in him. I wish that I would have just completely taken over at that point. That's also what I would have done differently. I wish I would have just stepped up, and even though it's technically his company, I know that he doesn't see me as an employee. He sees me as a business partner. And it's hard to get used to the husband and wife running a business together roles. The lines get skewed sometimes. But, don't be afraid in situations. If your driver is tired and they're not sure what to do, and you feel like you've got a burst of energy, you have some confidence in you, then just take the initiative to step up. Sometimes they're afraid to make the call to deadhead back home or give up on the load that you've been held up on forever. So you've got more of a clear head because you've been sleeping in a bed all week. They've been sleeping in a truck or whatever. Don't be afraid to make that judgment call and just tell them what to do in that situation. And then they can get home and you guys can regroup and start fresh. That's not always a bad thing to do. You'll make up for it money-wise later on down the road. All right, well, I've hit the 18-minute mark, and that's all I got for today. I'm going to get back to work. Hope you guys had a great Thanksgiving, and I will see you guys later. Bye.